Hey guys, if you're just joining us, we're gonna wait 5 more minutes and get started with an awesome training today. In the meantime, let us know in the chat where you're joining us from, and we'll get started soon. So let's just let everyone join us here. Yeah, and if you guys watching this recording, then just go to minute 5. Probably we're gonna start there, the actual training. I'm going to walk you through the framework today of basically what it looks like to do acquisitions and what you need to know. So I see some people are joining us. If you're joining us right now on Zoom or on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever you're at, let me know in the chat where you're joining us from. It will be just awesome to know where you're coming from. Let me open the chat thing. Also, I see we got Gold Coast, Australia. Hey, Michael, good to see you here. Anthony from Atlanta, nice. Good to see you here, man. Eric from Pittsburgh, nice. George from Dundee, love it. Oh, we got all over the place here. Australia, Europe, we got US, of course. Andre from New York, nice. Sam from Detroit, good to see you guys. Chris from Minneapolis, and Ken from Canada. David from South Carolina, Tony from Washington. Good stuff. Good to see you guys. Let's give it a bit more time. Frank, good to see you here from Miami. Raj from Calgary. Nice. I used to live in Calgary for a bit. I had a business there. How's Calgary right now? Is it already cold already? No, probably this time of the year. Who else, guys? Who else we got here on the training? And let me know where you're from. No, it's 12 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's not too bad, man. Vince from California. Good to see you, man. Who else is joining us here? Let us know. I don't know if we're live on Facebook or not. Let me see if I can see something there. Let me know also, we have 2 more minutes or so before we're getting started. What are you doing for a living right now? Brandon from Texas, good to see you, man. Just let me know what are you doing for a living right now. That'll be awesome to know. Like, do you work at a full-time job? If so, what kind of a job? Do you have a business? If so, what business? That'll be really, really interesting for me to know. What are you guys working on? All right, so I see some messages here. Full-time working as a mechanical engineer. Nice. We have a lot of engineers. We're attracting a lot of engineers, and it's interesting. Maybe because we have detailed training, but it's really fascinating for attracting a lot of engineers. Business owner and market trader. Nice. What kind of business, Chris? I'm curious. George, property investment management and letting. Nice. Construction business. We also have a lot of people in construction. We just helped one of our guys buy 2 businesses in, I don't know if you guys saw an interview with a guy by the name of Reza. So he bought 2 businesses in Canada in the construction space, in Vancouver actually, doing about 17 million a year. Andre worked full-time with UPS. Nice. Full-time real estate investment consultant and broker. Nice. Anthony. Frank, private placement and financial services, asset management. Good stuff. What kind of asset management services you providing? There's might be interesting stuff we could work on. Brittany from Detroit, working in the digital marketing industry. Nice. Have a small agency. Good stuff. Digital agencies and marketing agencies in general is probably one of the most interesting sector to roll up. And I'm going to talk a bit more about it today. NKN project management. Ralph, full-time insurance. Nice. Richard, hey Ron, I can't see any of the other participants, neither do I have any video controllers. Yeah, you shouldn't see anyone. It's a webinar, so I don't think you have the option to see anyone, but I'll answer questions from the chat. let's go to a few more people and then we'll get started with the training, guys. I'm going to give you some awesome framework today that I think will give you an amazing clarity on what do you need when it comes down to acquisition. So I'm super, super excited to share it with you. Hopefully it's not going to overwhelm you, but I know we have a lot of smart people here, so I trust that you'll be okay. Barber and community empowered, nice. Richard, high ticket sales, nice. And information tech consulting and owning milk tea shop. That's cool. How you got to own that milk tea shop? That's interesting. David, appliance store owner, nice. Sean from Greenland. Michael, M&A in the MSP space. Good stuff, Michael. Warren, full-time real estate entrepreneur. Nice, nice, nice. Chris, construction and manufacturing. Alex, e-com and digital agencies. Good stuff. I would love to learn where to find Etsy stores for purchase. Your sound is blurry. Everyone else also hear me blurry, I'm curious? Or let me try to move my mic. Sound is fine. Okay, sweet. Thank you. Yeah, Yuval, probably something internally. Sorry for that. Loud and clear. Okay, sweet. I appreciate it, guys. So let's get started with today's training. So before I'm going to share my screen and show you my new frameworks. I'd love to hear about some of the challenges that you think might hold you back from buying a business on your own right now. Please let me know in the chat so I make sure I answer your questions today. And also maybe let me know, okay, so let me know why you'd like to consider to buy a business and maybe what's holding you back right now to already buy your first or next business on your own. I'm curious. So whatever information you give me will just really give me clarity on what I need to expand on today. So that'll be really, really helpful. Okay, so I see here capital, what industry to focus on, where to look is the biggest problem. Finance is always an issue. Okay, cool, cool. Competent knowledge and funding. Okay, finance. Cool. So yeah, a lot of very common, basically it comes down to, and it's fun, I'm going to talk about it today. A lot of it, okay, team, I want to buy businesses to become financially free. I'm struggling to find funding. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to share with you something really, really interesting. What if I would tell you that today, after you're going to finish the training, you're going to have full clarity on exactly what is missing in your process and exactly what you need to know in order to buy your first or next business? Would that be helpful if I gave you a framework? So in the end of the call, you'll know, okay, this is what I'm missing. This is what I have already, and this is what I need to become better at. Would that be helpful if I gave you like a full framework today on what that might look like? Structuring deals, nice. Finding manager operator to run acquisitions, funding and knowledge of sector, good stuff. Risk associated with buying a business. Yes, would be helpful. Let's get to it. Well, we're getting there in a second. Yes, extremely helpful. Awesome. So that's my goal for today. My goal for today is to give you a framework. So in the end of the call, you know exactly, okay, this is what I know, this is what's missing, and this is what I need in order to get clarity on how I can buy my first or next business, or maybe even do a roll-up and do basically a roll-up with it's a combination of few companies in the same sector. That's basically the definition of a roll-up, is merging multiple companies under the same roof of one sector. The latest one that really we might even talk about today is a 200 million roll-up, combining 16 companies in less than 6 months. And that's my goal, to find as many people out there as possible that have the goals of just not just buying maybe one business, but to buy ideally 5, 10, 20 businesses in one sector, so we could support them with all the process from the beginning up to operating the day-to-day and making sure that the business is growing. Cody, a bottom to my existing business would be good as well. Awesome, sweet. So let me share my screen. iPad. I literally feel like I have the iPad just for my drawing habits. So I'm just gonna make sure. Can you just give me a yes or no if you guys can see this, if you can see my screen? And yes, okay, sweet, thank you. Process of on two fronts. Okay, good. Thank you, I appreciate you guys. So, by the way, for those of you who have any thoughts, questions, feedback, please put everything in the chat on Zoom, not in the Q&A, because it's just going to be very impossible for me to look at too many screens at the same time. Okay, so let's get started. So to help you and give some clarity on things, I created a new framework. And with this framework, I believe that everything in the acquisition space can basically distill down into 3 categories. Would anyone here guess what are those categories? If I had to take all the ideas of buying businesses into only 3 things, what do you think would they be? What are the most important things when it comes down to acquisitions and buying businesses? Let me see some thoughts in the chat while I write them down. So, finding funding. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let me share with you what I have. Okay, motivated sellers, finding funding and running, find, negotiate, close. Cool. So let me share with you what it looks like on my end. So it starts with, and hopefully I'm gonna be smart with my real estate use of the screen here. So in my mind, first one is deal flow. Second one is deal structures. And the third one is, just want to make sure I'm doing it right. So give me a second here, guys. I'm not the best in this painting thing. This could be much better, but that's the best I could do today. And the last one is deal execution. I believe that everything in the acquisition space, from buying one business to buying 2, 3, 20, 30, 200 businesses, can basically distill down under those 3 categories. Right? And I see a lot of great stuff in the chat. So finding funding, motivated sellers, find, negotiate, close, finance, finding industry, identifying and assessing deals, structuring deals, growing company exits. Okay, sweet. So my goal for today is I want each and every one of you to basically rank yourself as basically a red, yellow, and green. So whatever we're going to go through today, I want you to start to think with yourself, okay, am I yellow here? Am I red? Am I green? Right? So even right now, what do you think? What would you rank yourself in each of those? In deal flow, in deal structures, in deal execution? Would you rank yourself as red, yellow, or green? Maybe you're not sure exactly on what those means yet, but we're going to expand on those in a bit. But I think that to begin with is just a great framework to start with, because I'm going to overwhelm you. Like, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like, because the goal here is to basically to show you that in each of those, we have 3 more categories. Oops. So far we're not overwhelmed, right? We're good. If I told you that we're going to talk about a lot of things today, but it all going to go back to those 3 things, would that be helpful? Hopefully, because I don't want to overwhelm you today. In terms of what do red, yellow, green represent, just represent, okay, your knowledge or the assets that you have in each, etc., etc. So let's dive in. Let's go through each of those. So so deal flow for me, what goes under deal flow? In my mind, it starts with sector. Oops, let's pick this. It starts with sector. And it continues with positioning. And then we also have opportunities. Right? Let's expand on those. And even guess what? Let me just delete this one. And guess what each of those have under those? we have even more under each of those, right? So in sector, we have some more stuff. We have vision, we have values, and we have market analysis. Me and my great skills in drawing stuff. So hopefully we start to get a little bit more clarity of what we need, right? So let me know right now. So when it comes down to deal flow and picking your sector, how comfortable are you ranking yourself? Are you red, yellow, or green in your vision, the values that you want to have for your company or the existing company that you have or the company you're going to buy? And the market analysis, how much you know about the market, how much you know about the trend, how much you know about the margins, how much you know about comparing yourself to other companies in the sector, how much you know of what is a good company versus a bad company, right? Start to rank yourself in each. And by the way, is this valuable to maybe show you why it's important to distill down all those ideas of acquisitions into one framework? Is this helpful? And if it is, please let me know why in the chat, so I'll get some feedback here, because I'm testing it right now on you guys on this way of teaching and educating you guys on that. So let me know if that's helpful to basically distill everything into one framework, and if so, would be really good to hear why you think that might be helpful for you, right? So positioning, what goes under positioning? Let's talk about here. So in my mind, when you talk about positioning, it comes down to strategic versus private, right? Strategic versus private, what that means? It basically means, okay, when you're talking to companies, are you positioning yourself as a private investor or as a company, as a strategic acquisition, strategic company? Credibility, right? What is your process to make sure that people take you seriously as a credible buyer, even if you never bought a business before, right? And for that, you might need team members, right? So let's put this here. So let me know right now in the chat, where are you in positioning? Would you rank yourself red, right? Red, yellow, or green? So strategic versus private, credibility, team members. Do you have the assets to position yourself as a strategic company, strategic acquisition, or as a private investor, right? Are you red, yellow, green? How comfortable are you positioning yourself? Do you have the credibility, or do you have the confidence and you know what words to use in order to position yourself as someone with credibility, right? How comfortable you are with that? Are you red, yellow, or green? What about team members? Are you going to position yourself as an individual, or you're going to have to bring team members to be on your team so you can have more confidence? And there's no right or wrong, but you need to have basically the answers to each, right? So where are you? Do you have the confidence? Do you have the assets? Are you red, yellow, or green on each? So hopefully, and we're going to continue with all of this will, but hopefully this is giving you a bit of a framework of like saying, okay, this is what I need to buy businesses. In the end of the day, it comes down to me needing deal flow. Oops, I meant that one. I need deal flow, right? Then I need, let's start with this one. I meant to do this one. So I need information, understanding, experience in deal structures, or someone with experience and understanding to teach me. And I need information and understanding about deal structures, right? So when we know we are green on each, guess what? We are comfortable to move on to the next step, because confidence, a lot of people tell me, man, Moran, I don't have the confidence to go out there and buy businesses. Guess what? When you have clarity, you're going to have much more confidence to go out there and talk to business owners, to go out there and talk to financial partners or institutions or whatnot, to make offers, to talk to business owners. But when you don't have clarity, you're going to be overwhelmed. You're not going to be sure about what's your next step. and you're just not going to take action. And if you're going to take action, it's not going to come from a place of certainty and confidence, and you're not going to get the results that you want. So let's move to the next one. And in the meantime, guys, any feedback would be really appreciated in the chat. Or if you have thoughts about maybe rewording things here, if you think that should be a different thing, just let me know. And if it's helpful, let me know if it is and why it's helpful for you, so I understand and can really expand on that maybe in future trainings, and just make sure that I know that this works for you. So opportunities, what opportunities looks like, right? So opportunities can come from brokers, and opportunities can come from off market. And I would also add here is filtering. You need some kind of a filtering system to make sure that you're spending the time on the good deals, right? And even here, by the way, on off market alone, we can spend freaking hours to give you like 10 other different strategies on just on how to find off market deal flow, right? So where are you on opportunities, on your confidence and certainty to get deals from brokers and to position yourself with brokers and for brokers to look at you as credible buyer? How confident and certain are you to look at off-market deals and reach out and build automations and deal flow from off-market sources? And how comfortable are you in confidence that you know how to filter deals fast, right? So that's deal flow. Again, goes down to picking a sector, right? Learning how to position yourself. And we have another color green here. Let's see. And how would you rank yourself about learning how to get opportunities, right? If they're off market or on market. Let's continue. So let's move on to deal structure, right? So what do we have under deal structures? If you have some thoughts or ideas on what is under deal structures, let me know. But in the meantime, I'll share with you what I came up with, what I feel is crucial for you to master when it comes to deal structures. All right, so for me, it's deal due diligence, right? It's also deal financing, and it's also negotiations. So let's just continue with this work of art that we have here. Man, I need to find a good designer to help with this. Right? So deal due diligence. And when I'm talking about deal due diligence here, by the way, I'm talking about due diligence. I guess we don't have left. We'll see if I have a space here. Let's do this. I'm talking about due diligence before we even get anything under LOI, right? So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about financial due diligence, of course. Right? I'm talking about cultural, which most people take for granted. And I'm talking about operational. How would you rank yourself on each, right? On your confidence of doing due diligence on a deal as soon as you found it, right? About your confidence, are you red, yellow, or green of understanding their financials? Are you red, yellow, or green of understanding their culture? Are you red, yellow, or green understanding their operations, right? And the way they operate, right? Where are you? Then let's move on to deal financing. So deal financing, what do we have? We have debt, right? We have equity. And We have creative structures. And just on the creative structures alone, I could probably spend 10 hours just on that. Right? On debt, on equity, you could probably spend hours just on that. But is it helpful, guys, for you to see, okay, when I'm looking at deal structures, this is what I need to keep in mind, right? So we started with deal flow, right? We learned how to pick the sector, how to then position ourselves, how to then find opportunities. Then we found them, cool. What is our process to do our due diligence, our process to get the financing, and our process to negotiate? And even here, so just get some place here. So what do we have under negotiations? We have personal, right? Why the seller want to sell? Why is motivated? What are his plans to do after he's selling the business? What is planning to do with the money, right? It's bringing us to financial. And it also brings us something that I call offer patterns. So what is your plan if you're going to get someone is going to reject your offer? Do you have a process? Do you have different patterns of offers or different positioning to take? So you could still move on with your negotiations, right? So while I color this, I just want to see some comments, guys. Any thoughts on that? Any feedback? Any questions, guys? Is this helpful? Let me know in the chat, please. I want to see kind of like what are you thinking so far? Before we move on to the next part of the wheel. This is great. Makes absolute sense. Thank you. Definitely helpful seeing the diagram. Awesome. Visual is good. Yeah. So I'm the same. I'm a very visual learner. I know when I see things that way, it's just very, very helpful, right? So yeah. Let me share my screen again. Let's go back to our wheel of, if you have good ideas for the name of the wheel, that'll be cool to see as well. So I don't know, the wheel of the wheel of fortune, the acquisitions wheel. If you have some thoughts, it would be really, really cool to hear those. So what do we have in deal execution, right? Any thoughts? Will for that? The deal wheel, deal wheel. I like it. With that, good question. All right, deal execution. By the way, guys, I'm gonna go through all of this and then go through some more training, and then open it up for questions on it, of course. Any other random questions you have. So let's go to deal execution, right? What do we have under deal execution? So here we have oops, that's not the one I meant. So here we have under deal execution, we have operation. So let's start with this, right? We want to execute on the deal. What do we want to do, right? So we have operational due diligence, right? We have cultural, and we also have financial. So how are we doing with the time? So let's see what we can expand on today, because here's the thing, those things can expand forever. Like I can talk about like 10 different things just on the vision that you need to worry about, right? Values, few ways to set your values. So let's start in talking a bit about here about the execution, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions here, and expand on those. So operational, for example, what that might look like. We have legal, we have finance, DD, and execution, right? What else? Advisors, right? Who we need on our advisors, who we need there, and how to handle them and how to operate with them. Of course, employees, right? So that's part of the operations. Then cultural, what that looks like here. So here we have, what is our compensation models? Compensation, right? We also have technology. Like a lot of people don't know, but when you roll up a lot of companies, one of the biggest struggles you're going to have is alignment in technology and people. So people is part of it as well. How you're making sure that everyone is aligned and working towards, guess what, the same vision and the values. And the reason we start with those things, because guess what, maybe you're not thinking about it right now, but when you have business doing 3, 5, 10, 20 million a year, that's where those things can bite you in the ass if you're not setting them right correctly from the get-go. Financials, so we'll see if we have a place here, but it's basically here we have synergies. And that's especially for people who have existing businesses. Synergies and I don't have a place here, expansion analysis, that's here, right? So when you're looking at your business versus a business you want to buy, right? What's the analysis you're doing for synergies, for expansion? I saw someone was writing about an exit. So part of this, your execution comes down to your exit. We call it pre-diligence, right? What's your process there to make sure that you're running your business like you want to operate like you're never going to sell the business, but at the same time, you want to be prepared like you're going to sell the business tomorrow. And you want to be clean and organized like you're going to sell everything tomorrow. And also in financial, we have also modeling, reporting, right? Things like that, like budgets, cash flow, and managing all that. So we'll see how much time we'll have. We might expand on each here as well. By the way, if you want to get a copy of this wheel, post in the Facebook group and we'll see. We'll try to send it to you later. And I might, if you think this is helpful, I might try to do more training on each of those in future weeks, like to expand on each, if that will helpful. But hopefully by now you're getting a bit of a better picture on what that looks like, right? So you kind of like understanding, okay, where you at in the process, and remember like where you at, right? Are you red, yellow in the traffic light? Are you red, yellow, or green? Are you ready to move forward? Do you have the clarity on each to move forward or not? If you don't have the clarity, guess what? You probably need more information, more experience, more understanding of each step. So let's color each of those in the meantime. And if you have any questions on those for now, let me know and I'll look in the chat. Let's just make it pretty for now. Make them in similar colors. Is this the same color as this? No, I'm not sure. But I know for me, when I'm learning things, it's given me such great clarity. Yes, I would like a copy of the wheel. If you want a copy of the wheel, post in the Facebook group, not here. So one of my team members will reach out to you. Cody, is there a color for a hell of a long way to go? So first of all, don't look at it as a long way to go. Look at it as, okay, at least I have clarity right now, right? It's kind of like you want to get in shape. Guess what? You learning what are the steps to get in shape is the first step for you, right? So you knowing, okay, I need to take care of what I'm eating, the amount of calories I'm eating, probably the workouts that I'm doing. You need to be happy that you have the certainty and clarity on what you need to do next. And that's how I wanted to look at this as well. Just look at it as, okay, cool. I wasn't sure about what my path is going to look like. Now I understand, okay, this is my path. This is what I need to learn. This is what I'm missing. And this is what I'll probably need to learn moving forward. So let's just finish this. Let's get another nice color here. We have another nice color here, similar to yellow. I just put yellow here as well. So hopefully this is helpful, guys. The clarity is a big help and understand the roadmap. Awesome. That's the goal, right? The goal here is not to teach you everything right now, because that will take me hours. But this is a great way for me to give you the clarity of knowing, okay, this is the roadmap, this is what it looks like. And I want to move on actually to what the roadmap might look like for you guys as well. So I feel like when it comes down to a roadmap, we basically have, call it stairs or call it, I don't know, basically three phases when it comes down to acquisition. So there's call it the launch phase, which is kind of like between 0 to 1 million a year. And then we have the Accelerate. Oops. Accelerate. Sorry, just a bit weird to write and talk at the same time. And then we have abundance. So what we've been doing in the last year alone, we basically reversed engineers the breakpoints you're going to have from 0 to 200 million a year now. And we know what challenges you'll have and what you better have in place. So, you know, those challenges won't bite you in the ass. So I want to talk about it a bit today so you understand, okay, what do you need to focus on when it comes to your journey? So for those of you who are just getting started, it's kind of like the 0 to 1 million. The next step is 1 to 10 million. And kind of like this step is kind of like the 10 to 100 million a year revenues. So what do you need to focus? Let's just make sure I have some place here to write down things. Oops. All right, so this is what it looks like. So the problem here in the launch phase usually comes down to you not knowing well enough. Like if I had to tell you, cool, what like if you ask me, hey, Moran, what do I need to focus on if I'm just getting started? I would ask you, cool, where are you right now in your path? Are you at the launch phase, accelerate phase, or abundance phase? And everyone here is in a different phase, right? So I would tell you, if you're just launching, you should focus on your positioning. 1 second, let me figure out my technology. Positioning, about your deal flow, and about your financing. You know, those are the 3 things. That's the 80-20. Obviously, the more you know about each of those steps in the wheel, the better you'll be, the more clarity you'll have, the faster results you'll get, the bigger results you'll get. But if you want to hear what is the 80-20, that's kind of like the 80-20. Do you have a path to position yourself? Do you have a path for deal flow? Do you have a path for financing or different deal structures that not necessarily going to use your money? In the accelerate phase, and that comes down to you just buying a bigger business or buying a second business and getting to a point where, okay, you're making now not just 7-figure a year, but you're closer to the 8-figure a year. Then you're going to see more problems of, you know, things like operations, right? Things like your team, how do you manage them, and cash flow, right? That's your 80-20 here. And in the abundance phase, and we're looking at right now with Michael, one of our 200 million roll-ups that we worked with, is the abundant phase. Here you'll start to see problems like culture, right? Here you see problems like profits. How do you optimize those and optimize for valuation? And here we'll also see challenges like mission. What are you here for? What is your purpose as a business? And guess what? Where it comes back to? Remember this? For those of you who don't have businesses, you might be thinking, this is bullshit. This is baloney, man. Why do I need to focus on this? But guess where it's going to bite you in the ass? It's going to bite you in the ass later when you're not ready for it. And when you hear and you want to take care of your mission, your culture from zero, from scratch, it's a nightmare. So wouldn't it be easier if you just did it right away and just make sure you have a bit more clarity on what are you doing to get started with it? So yeah, so that's my goal for you, to really understand and reverse engineer your path. So you know, okay, where I'm at, I'm in the launch phase, the accelerate phase, or the abandon phase. What do I need to focus on? What kind of things I need to master? What is my process to position myself? What is my process for deal flow, and not just from brokers, but off market, so I get better deals? And what is my process for financing? And this brings us back to all this, right? Debt, equity, and creative structures. And just in creative structures alone, in past trainings, we talk about some of them, but we have probably dozens of ways to use creative financing where you don't necessarily need to use your own money, but use other people's money to buy those businesses. And here, we just have a lot of white space that we need to get rid of. Yeah, so trying to think if I missed something. So just to share with you, by the way, let me know in the meantime if you have any feedback, but I want to share with you. So obviously some of you know that we have basically ways to work with us. And my goal is for the people that work with us is on the front end, I want to help people buy at least one business using this wheel to at least get them through the launch sequence and launch phase. And then my goal, my path, my vision with acquisitions.com is to really help people in the accelerate and abundance place where we can basically really support you in a roll up, right? And really basically tell you, okay, you want to buy one business? Cool, let's help you. Let's build your fundamentals. Let's make sure you know all the terms. Let's make sure you know all the details. Let's make sure you even buy your first business at least. And for some of you, it might be enough. Like buying one 7-figure business will change your life and will make you financially free. So that's good. For some of you, that might be, that might be cool. That's what you want to do, and that's okay. But for others, you might want to tell me, man, I want to buy, 15 companies. I want to buy 20 companies. I want to buy 100 companies. Those are the people I really want to work with long term, and I really want to partner with, right? So just so you know, on the back end, like for our partners, we really provide them like a full boardroom, board member support, right? So we really support them with everything operations. So if you have a lot of motivation to do those big deals, we can really then support you. So if you're coming to us and your goal is to buy one business, after you bought this one business, maybe you're telling us, you know what, Moran, I want to buy, I want to buy 16 of those businesses or whatever, as many businesses as you want, so we can create a larger holding company, a larger business that is just going to be valued at the higher multiples, right? So if you're buying one business at 3 times multiples of profits, if you're going to buy each of them at 3, and obviously you're going to make sure, remember, go back to the wheel, that all your execution is dialed, your operational culture of financial execution is dialed, then you can really build a business that is worth combined, if you have lots of businesses together, obviously depends on the sector, would be worth at least 9 or 10 times. So you can take a business doing 1 million in profits, or let's say, worth 3 million, and the same small business as part of a larger group could be worth 10 times than that, right? So the same 1 million profit could be worth 30 million just because it's part of a larger group. That's my goal. And internally, we're building a team. So we basically have all the C-level executives to support your businesses on basically a quarterly basis when it comes down to review your businesses and whatnot, and to make sure that, again, back to our wheel, you operate and execute things the right way with the existing businesses, and you have the path to buy more businesses when it comes to deal flow, deal structures, and everything back to your vision, values, and market analysis to make sure that everything is aligned. All the team members are aligned, executing well, and we can just create beautiful businesses. And that's kind of like what we helped Michael doing with the 200 million a year roll up that he was able to execute in less than 6 months. And by the way, those C-level executives, if you want to try and hire them on your own, would either cost you at least half of your business, or on an average of anywhere from 250 to at least 500,000 a year. So if we're giving you, let's say, 5 C-level executives to work with your roll-ups, then we're saving you, anywhere from 1 to 2, 3 million a year. So that's my goal. That's my vision with acquisitions.com. And hopefully some of the people that here are on the call want to take part of that and want to use us as basically your, kind of like almost like an opportunity to do your first roll up without getting bites in the ass, and making sure that you're executing well and getting the results that you want. So on that note, first of all, I'd love to hear if you have any feedback on the deal wheel. I guess that's the word for now until we find a better word, better way of explaining this wheel. And if you have any questions, I'll stay here for another few more minutes. And before you're asking your questions, I'm just asking you that if you have any question, I'd like to hear, what do you think about this training today? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And if so, please expand and tell me why. So I'll get feedback just for my selfish reasons. So please let me know any question that you have. I'm happy to answer it. But please, if you're asking any question, just make sure that you're giving me feedback first. And it's a win-win for all of us. So with that being said, I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll look for questions in the chat. And remember, guys, I'm only going to answer questions from people who are giving me feedback first, right? I don't care if it's a negative feedback. I just want the feedback so I could learn and better explain things for you in future trainings. All right, let's see what we have in the chat. It is certainly a will bit overwhelming. Okay, thank you for the feedback, for the idea that it's overwhelming. I appreciate that. Like, this is good feedback, so thank you. What specifically is overwhelming, Cody? I'm just really curious. So if you can expand on that, that would be really cool. Training is awesome. Thank you, the Korean. I appreciate it. This is great training. Thanks, Moran. Thank you. Great training, Moran. The visual aspect helps me tremendously. Thank you. Love the training. I'm interested in learning how to partner with your organization. I'm in launch phase and have not bought a business yet. Yeah, great question. So by the way, if you want to have a discussion with me or my team, I'm going to put a link in the chat. So you can go to acquisitions.com/apply and you can book a call with us. Or maybe I'll write it down in the thing. So it's 1 second. I'll just write it down and I'll share my screen. Acquisitions.com/app. Stop. Let me share my screen again real quick. 1 second. And in the meantime, guys, yeah, any questions that you have, let me know in the chat. But remember, feedback first, please. So yeah, guys, for those of you who want to explore what it might look like to work with me on your roll-ups, go to acquisitions.com/apply and book a call with me or my team. It's a free call. We'll just see if we can help you. We'll see where you're at, where you want to be, see if we can help you. If we can, we'll let you know what it might look like. So let's talk. Yep. All right. So let me look at the chat now. Where am I? Okay, super valuable, tons more clarity than I had before. Thank you, Roosevelt. I appreciate it. Making it insightful. Thank you. Richard, I agree. Visuals are key to understanding. Thank you. Vince, good training with graphic. Thank you. Also much appreciated. Thank you. I know that I'm more red than green, but I know the small spaces I need to focus on. Yeah, that's the main goal of what we just did, right? Is to make sure that you have clarity. A lot of info all at once. They're not gonna be wrong. It's great, but just got a lot to take up front. Yeah, no worries, Cody. So that's part of the process, right? It's better. Like I'd rather just give it to you all of it than just I don't know, teach you something today and another step just in a year from now. So I just want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, to make sure that it's a fit. And we're gonna post the recording in the Facebook group. So yeah, you could watch it again and again if you want. If you want to listen to my voice again and again. I love the training, a clear path to purchase and grow a business. How do we start? Yeah, so I mean, you can either follow what I said and see if you can explore it on your own, or if you want to get our help to accelerate your progress, go to acquisitions.com/apply and book a call to talk to us. How do you move your mindset from a money-making venture to a more vision and value-oriented? I think it comes down to understanding that every big business, in the end of the day, won't be successful just because you want to make a lot of money. Your employees don't give a shit that you, as the owner, want to make lots of money. They want to make sure that they're working for something that actually meaningful. And guess what? You, as an entrepreneur, in the end of the day, you're going to wake up in the morning much more motivated to actually do a work that is meaningful versus just thinking about money. I know, at least for me personally, when I just focused on money, um, I was never able to be as efficient as I could if I'm also focusing on making an impact and doing good in the world, which is, I think, what we all try to do in the end of the day. I think at this point, probably in the last few years, 15 years, I talked to probably thousands of entrepreneurs. And when I ask them what they want to do with their life, what are their goals, and why they want to do what they're doing, it eventually comes down to they want to make an impact. So I think you just might rather just better start with the idea of wanting to make an impact. I'm launching a fund. Does this process work in the same as well? Yeah. So if your idea with the fund is to buy businesses, then yeah, 100%. I mean, a fund is just one way, one creative structure to raise capital. That's it. That's what a fund is. And it's part of our creative structures. Go out there and basically raise a fund. I like the simplicity of the terms: finding, funding, and running with someone that someone made. Yeah, 100%. Very clear. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Lynn, thank you. ST, good webinar. Future ones focus on individual topics. For roll-ups, better to create a new entity for each acquisition or merge into a large parent company. So it depends on the deal. It's always good. I would also suggest to just put things separately under different entities to keep yourself safe. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. What is the Facebook group name? It's Business Buying Mastermind. I'll just write it down here as well. So let's do it smaller so it's easier. Yeah, so search for Business Buying. I mean, yeah, have some spaces. Mastermind. Have a space here. That's the Facebook group. That's the Facebook group. So yeah, if you guys, yeah, okay, sweet. Thank you for posting this, Martin. So if you want to get these visuals, like get those visuals, post in the Facebook group, and one of my team members will reach out to you. Is doing a roll-up of franchise restaurants a good idea? Up to you. It really depends, man. What's your experience? What's your background? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve here? So it's really very individual. Do you tend to stay away from buying businesses that require specific state licenses, or do you figure out ways around it, such as having a GM to get less necessary licensing? Yeah, so again, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. If your goal is to own businesses in those sectors, you can definitely just have someone with a license and paying a bit to make sure you use his license, or you're doing everything legally. Richard, see you next time. See you, Richard. I think that's it. Okay, I see a question in the Q&A. Where should I get started if I'm not ready to work with your team yet? Yeah, it's not a problem at all. Just keep joining those Q&A calls and training. We're going to do a lot of free training. Watch my YouTube channel. We have hundreds of videos there. I'm going to try to do a training like this every week, 2 weeks or so. Yeah, so if you have any feedback, let us know, or thoughts or ideas of what you want us to talk about. Does this process work with VC funds? Yes, 100%. I mean, in the end of the day, when you're investing in companies, you want to make sure a VC fund, what is a VC fund? It's a venture capital fund for you to invest in companies, right? That's pretty much what we're doing as well. So whenever you're investing in companies, you want to make sure that they have everything aligned. It's their vision, their values, their market analysis. You need to have some kind of a position in yourself. You need to have ways to find deals. You need to make sure that everything is being executed well. So it's the same process, 100%. Then where do you want to go from there? Yep, sweet. Cool, guys. So I don't see any other questions. So with that being said, hopefully you got some value today. I definitely enjoyed drawing a lot of those things today. And can you recommend a good place to find a reputable Etsy store for sale? So it depends, man. Etsy stores, to be honest, we're just working with bigger businesses usually. It sounds like you just want to buy a very small business, and you're not going to buy a business, you're going to buy yourself a job. It's not really what we're focused on. We're focused on buying businesses doing usually at least $500,000 or $1 million a year So you're not getting yourself a job, you're actually buying a business with teams, with systems, with processes, etc., etc. Ryan, could we talk about a minute about creative financing structures? Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to basically creatively structure deals. Trying to see if there's a training I can share with you here. But just to quickly answer to you, when I'm saying creative structures, I'm talking about things like earnout, seller financing, options, earning, sweat equity, consulting for equity, mergers, pre-deal campaigns, like doing the real estate and lease back things. There's a lot of those structures that we can expand on for hours. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what's the best training to do that. We might send an email on that. But yeah, or if you have any other thoughts, just email us, post in the group, and I'll try to talk about those things in future trainings. Cool, guys. So hopefully that was valuable. If it is, share it with your friends. We're gonna post the training in the Facebook group. I think that's it. So have a great rest of your day, evening, weekend, week, whatever it is for you in the world. And I'll see you in future trainings. Take care, everyone.